Hey folks, welcome to the Cardboard Cave. We're here to unbox the Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Samus Amiibo. This is one of three different ones. There's this one on her bike, which is brand new to Metroid Prime 4. And then there's a villain character. No spoilers or anything from me, but those are three options basically. Samus here, though, is looking really fantastic. Just right off the bat, I can tell there's like a metallic sheen to her suit that the past Amiibo did not have. I'm so excited for Metroid Prime 4. Just Metroid Prime, the original on GameCube, has been and will always be one of my absolute favorite games. I will never, and I know it's critically acclaimed, but of the games that I dearly love, there's a couple that I don't think have ever gotten. I've never been able to get across to anyone just how much I love them. Earthbound is another one, although there's a huge dedicated fan base to Earthbound who feels the same way. And I do believe it's true for Metroid Prime as well, but if you were there in 2001 or 2, whichever it was, when it came out on GameCube, if you were there, you know, like it was too good to be true. It felt 10 years ahead of its time. It was so incredible and is so incredible because they just did the remaster, just was earlier this year or late last year, one or the other. And it's the same game, just brought up to modern graphics, basically. But the graphics aren't even like completely different. It's basically, it looks the way you'd expect it to today, in other words. But the game is basically the same and it's still so, so good. Metroid Prime's amazing. That's enough for me. Metroid Prime 4, I have high hopes for. I know it has a long development history, but at the end of the day, it is developed by Retro Studios, who did Metroid Prime, who knows what they're doing. Very high hopes. But the Amiibo, a couple things out of the way. Nintendo has gone crazy with Amiibo pricing. I will not defend that. I don't understand it. I understand a little bit of it. Everything's gone up. Just cost of products, cost of materials, cost of manufacture, cost to ship, tariffs, the big ugly T word, all that. So I know why they've gone up some, but I don't know why they went from $15.99 to $30, $40. The biggest one in this set is $40. This one is $29.99. Will we be able to understand a little bit of that price once we get it out of the box? We'll see. We are going to directly compare it to my Smash Brothers Samus Amiibo, which is one of the original Amiibo. Actually, I think it was like $12.99 back then, but they have been $15.99 for a while, to be fair. So that's what we're going off of. So yeah, $29.99 is a lot, but it's not that frequent that we get new official Metroid collectibles. This isn't like Mario or Zelda or Pokemon where there's just always new stuff being released. Metroid is getting kind of hot right now. Obviously, Metroid Prime 4 is coming out. But 3 or 4 years from now, the stores will probably be dry. There'll probably be nothing Samus or Metroid related on shelves. I hope that's not true, but it's probably true. So you got to get it while you can a little bit when it comes to Metroid. You know, those of us who love Metroid and like to collect Metroid things, you know, I don't have a huge collection, but I got a few things. We know that you kind of got to get it while you can, or it becomes hard to find later. So here's the box, which we're going to take it out of. It does something in the game. I think maybe they said a little bit. I don't know if they said it all, actually. But let's face it, at some point, Nintendo realized that people were collecting these things more than using them in games. But it does something in the game. So let's see here. I have started saving the card backs on my figures like this, so I try to be slightly careful getting them out. See how I do here. I mean, you can't totally save the art, but I like to save the art because the art card takes basically no space at all. It's the big plastic shell that takes all your space. So I just like to cut. Sorry, I should show you what I'm doing here. I'm just cutting along the base as close to the base as I can with a sharp. This is like an off-brand X-Acto knife, but like an X-Acto type knife. Just doing the best I can here. Okay. We can go and get Samus out here. You see how it just kind of folds away. It's not hard to do. And I'll go and finish cutting this so you can see what I'm talking about. I didn't used to do this, and I saw someone do it. I'm like, you know what? For figures that have like really cool art, I think that makes sense. It's a cool way to do it. Don't want to cut my game topper here, though. I'm sure this is very exciting for you all to see me do this part. Well, why is this so hard? Anyways. You know what? That might just tear away. Huh. I think it does. Joke's on me. I think this part just tears away if you fold it back and forth a few times. Almost like they knew you were going to be doing something like this. Or some people would be anyways. Yeah, it just tears away. And there I was trying to cut it. There you go. If you care, that's what you're left with. You know, just a piece of art that takes like no space. So that's why I save them. And this gets recycled. And of course, this plastic gets recycled. All right. She really does look spectacular. It's just going to start a little spinning. Then I'll do some more close-ups. So, a few things that make this a little different than like the classic Amiibo. I did a really terrible job centering this there. Is there's like a natural base here. Like most of the originals didn't have anything like that. It's funny though, they have kept the initial, the circular base that they all came on. It's still under there. It's just underneath this. Also, just the paint is just has this cool metallic look. And I just feel like there's just more detail here than what I'm used to with Amiibo. We're going to do a direct comparison with the other Samus after another rotation or two here. But my initial impressions are it's definitely more detailed. And here's some of the old Jack specific. Actually, and I just did a video on this. You can get these currently from Walmart.com. They've restocked them. Just little Metroid figures there. You get a 2-pack with a little like 3-inch Samus for 15 bucks. But they don't go bad with this at all. So yeah, like I said, last I checked, these are still available in Walmart. They make a pretty cool companion with that. But once she comes back around, we'll stop spinning. We'll go in for a little closer detail. And then I'm going to compare to the Smash Brothers Samus. And then for my final thoughts, I just want to just talk about the price and see if I can make it make sense. I'm not going to like try to cut Nintendo a break on purpose. I just want to see if I can make it make sense to me. So shiny. I like that a lot. So shiny, the phone's actually struggling to focus a little bit there. See, even the arm cannon here just has quite a bit of detail on it. And I love the visor look here. There you can see the metallic gold of the Varia suit. Just really a nice paint scheme there. All the way down on this rock base. You know, this is not a cheap, like throwaway toy. Not that the original Amiibo were either, but this does feel a little bit more like a higher grade collectible. But still basically the same thing. And then, of course, the base, it's just like the Amiibo base used to be, which is almost kind of funny, but it makes sense. This is the part you scan. That's something they kept consistent. And even the big one, the $40 one where she's on her bike, which is like probably about twice as big as this one overall, it still has that base on the bottom. But anyways, pretty awesome looking, I would say. But let's compare here. This I showed off in a video just the other day. Well, the stand is just from an Etsy seller I got back, I don't know, a couple years ago. This Amiibo is this Metroid is something you can get. It's the big 6-inch Amiibo. Why do I keep saying Amiibo? It's the big 6-inch Metroid, and actually has black light effects. It glows in black light, basically. It's 25 bucks on Walmart. It's a cool thing. Go check out that video. But this stand is something somebody actually made specifically for the Samus Amiibo to kind of go with one of these Jack-specific toys. And just, we're going to compare this to the new one, but let's just, actually taped it in there. Get that off. Let's just take that off. See how the new one fits in there. Oh, because the base is the same, it does totally fit. Let's see. And then you could have the Metroids beside, you know, something like this. I don't know, just an option. I do think it looks pretty good. Obviously more of an action stance than the other one. But let's get all this out of the way and just do a comparison now between the two Samus Amiibo here. And I believe these are the only two standard, like, various suits Samus Amiibo. There's the Zero suit, you know, where you see her blonde hair and everything. There's the Dark Samus. There's also the Metroid Dread Samus, which is just a different suit. But as far as this suit, I believe these are the only two, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see how they compare. Try to line up base for base about the best I can. Okay, first of all, I think the base itself, no, it must be the same size because it fit in that spot perfectly. Okay, as far as the paint scheme, the original was nice. I didn't have any big problems. But you can see a much more shiny, metallic look to this one. The other one was no slouch, but especially in person, this almost has a chrome look to it. It is definitely a different sheen. How do like the details compare? Let's say the arm cannon here. Not that these are even meant to be totally identical, because obviously the new one is based on Metroid Prime 4, where I assume there will be some new abilities and things, but it is the same suit. And I think you're going to see pretty quickly what I'm seeing here, because it's the first time I've compared them side by side directly. And that is, there is significantly more detail in the new one. There's the arm cannon on the new one. It is definitely more detailed. Okay, let's just do a close-up of the face. Again, this is not to mock the original. It is still quite nice. But again, I think you'll see the new one does have a bit more going on for sure. And look, the shoulder areas are just definitely more built up. Again, not that it's supposed to be exactly the same suit. There's some different upgrades and things going on here, but overall, there is just more detail there. Look at the midsection and that sharp chrome red color. It's nice on this one too, but I think, yeah, I think there's a pretty big difference. Then the base is obviously a difference. You got this rock structure here that Samus is standing on. There's the boots. Also, just a really dynamic pose, just a really cool pose. Neither of these are articulated because Amiibo are not articulated, but the pose is cool on both. This is like a strut, like a confident walk. This one is just more of an action pose, but I still do feel like there's definitely more detail in the new one here on the left now. Yeah, I think that, I mean, size-wise, you know what? I'm nothing if not a completionist. Let's do my weight test. I got my scale right here. You don't click on my videos, if you've ever clicked on my videos before, you don't do it for a quick, clean, smoothly edited video. You do it to spend some time being a little bit of a dork, like I am. So let's see here. I got my scale here. Come on, scale. You can make it. All right. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to zero this out. All right, so the original Samus Amiibo from the Smash Brothers series is 1.1 ounce, but let's do it in grams. Nope, nope. Nope. Sorry, we'll get there, folks. $32 grams. Now it says 30, so 32 grams. 50 grams. So there's your difference. About 32 grams, about 50 grams. So what is that? 36. Gosh, is that like 40%? Yeah, roughly. Close to a 40% mass difference, or weight difference at least. So yeah, there's definitely more going on here. I mean, that was pretty obvious. So I don't think I have anything else to say here, except let's talk about that price. Let's talk about that price. $15.99 is what we're going to go with, even though, again, I'm pretty sure these were $12.99 originally, but that has been a long time ago at this point. So we'll go $15.99 because that is what they seem to be going for in stores, the ones you can find. I don't think this one is sold new in stores anymore. You'll just have to go to the aftermarket. But other Amiibo, up until these really expensive ones started happening, other Amiibo were $15.99. So, okay. And this is just my math. This means nothing. I don't have any inside information. You probably know that by now if you've been watching this. Just based on my... let's do a little... Zoom in a little more here. This is what we're talking about. Based on my math, what can make sense to me? What can I make sense is what I'm trying to say, I guess. Tariffs. I mean, I could see them going up a couple bucks because of tariffs. I mean, these are made probably in China, right? Made in China. Yeah, there you go. So, like all things made in China, you, the consumer, this is not political. I'm just saying, you, the consumer, do pay the tariffs. Don't be fooled. That's how tariffs work. If you're buying stuff that's manufactured in China, you're paying the tariff. The company is not going to eat that cost 99% of the time. They can't a lot of the times. In this case, I doubt Nintendo's eating the tariff fees, at least not all of it. So let's say going from $15.99 to maybe, I don't know, $17.99, you know, like a $2 increase. Because I think tariffs are based on manufacturing cost. I don't really care. I'm not getting into that. But I can see them going up to like 18 bucks just purely because of the tariffs, nothing else. And maybe that's not enough, but that's just the number I'm throwing out there. But also just things have gone up, like inflation, all that. So let's take it from 18 to 20 bucks. You know, that's like another 10, 12% increase. So I think 20 bucks is probably as cheap as anybody should be expecting Amiibo to sell for. Just strictly based on, not even Nintendo trying to make more money, just based on Nintendo breaking even with where they were at $15.99. I think they would have to go up to $19.99 probably to break even. This is just numbers that make sense to me, making it work in my head. Okay. So I guess the question is, if we should expect Amiibo to be about 20 bucks for the old style, is there $10 more worth in this one? A part of me says, okay, that makes a little sense. At least in person, this one just does look significantly better. I mean, it's a significant upgrade. It really is. So a part of me is saying, yeah, maybe there is like a $10 difference here. By the time you take, you know, the base and the figure and everything, it weighs, whatever I said, about 40% more. But then when you tell me it's $30 and I look at it, it just still feels like too much. So I think $20 is about what we should expect a normal one to be now. So I think maybe 25 still feels like a lot. $23.99. That's the number I'm coming up with. I'm just being honest with you. $23.99 is what I would like to see one like this for in the stores. Meaning the most premium, like the one where she's on the back, $29.99. It's a lot, but that is a big Amiibo. It's the size of 2, if not 3 of these. So I think the price range for Amiibo in 2025 should be $19.99 for the old style, which actually you can still get those for $15.99, the ones that are available, all the way up to maybe $29.99 for the biggest, the ones that are like on vehicles, you know, the bigger, complex ones. And ones like this that are nice, but are just like the new, nicer Amiibo, should be tops $23.99. So that was a long way to say I guess it's about $6 overpriced to me. But what you see is what you get. And I think what you see is very nice. Like, super nice. So, I don't know what else to tell you except I do feel like they could be a little less. But if you're a Metroid fan, you know it is not Nintendo's biggest moneymaker. It is not a series that sells probably as well as it deserves. And so it's one time I'm willing to make an exception. At least for one. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stretch and get the other ones at full price. But at least for one Amiibo, I'm willing to stretch a little bit. And pay the price. Because we just don't get that much Metroid stuff. And if we want more, it kind of makes sense to support it. You know, I'm not telling you to throw your money at Nintendo if you don't want to. I'm just saying, if you love Metroid, it is super cool. It looks great. It's probably about $6 overpriced, even taking inflation and tariffs and everything into account, based on my reckoning. Oh my gosh, how did I get this video to 21.5 minutes? I'm done. Goodbye. Please hit the like button if you survived this. Trevor out.